What's good, you guys? It is Will here from PSYCHONAUT Visions, signing back in once again, coming at you with another video today. Now, I want to talk about the year 2022 for me personally in this video. And, you know, it's been a while since I made a video, obviously. And I kind of documented why Alex and I sort of just lost our niche to an extent and kind of delved into other facets of life for both of us. You know, for me personally, this year has been really about my personal journey. And it's at the point now where it's like this obsession. And I consider it a good thing, but it can be seen as unhealthy to an extent. I'm just constantly centered on what I'm doing, on my path, on where I'm going. No, it's like an obsession, man. I can't describe it. I'm always thinking about what I can do next. And going into the year, my goals for 2022 were primarily to grow closer with my parents. I felt like I was leaving them out of certain things in my life, and I wanted to talk to them and open up about what I was going through. Another goal was to get a job because I was finishing up school and I wanted to start getting some kind of income, to generate some kind of flow of income. Another one was to get more comfortable driving in unfamiliar areas. I felt like I was hesitant to drive on like the freeway or in a new city or to somewhere I hadn't been. And I wanted to get more comfortable with that because it felt like I needed to start taking responsibility and being more willing to go to new places. And I think the biggest thing I was struggling with at the beginning of the year was what I talked about a lot on this channel, which is with my sex life. I was really struggling to discipline myself and overcome this beast lurking within, this lust of wanting hookups. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was, watching porn quite a bit around that time, and I think that was a large reason why I wanted to do these hookups, and it's hard to say, but some of them I was seeking with transgender women. And afterwards, if I would try and go over there, there would be no real sex because there was no arousal. There was no satisfaction in it. I just felt ashamed and just utterly confused. And it was this very empty feeling inside of just not knowing what was going on. And April was the last time that I tried hooking up with someone. Since then, I've been able to discipline myself. But it's also been this question of what do I want out of relationships and sex and love and lust and all the above that's been lingering in my mind for so long. And that's kind of why I haven't pursued a relationship. But that's just a part of life, I mean, we all experience lust. Otherwise, the one thing that was difficult for me throughout the year was finding a job. I couldn't seem to do it. I really started, I would say, around like April or May, and it took me until October. Throughout that period of time, though, I would go into places and they would just not be hiring, or it would just not be in season. Because I would go to a bunch of like gardening places, and the fall and late summer isn't really the best time for working there because a lot of plants aren't in bloom. And then I would apply online and they wouldn't respond within 30 days or something like that. Or there was literally one like event attendant position that I applied to, and I got the job. I was like, let's go. I was gonna be working part-time like 3-4 days a week, or at least like 2-3 days to start. But there was literally a flood at the facility and I couldn't work. They didn't have any events. I was like, what is going on right now? Like, can I catch a break? And then finally I started doing this dog walking back in October. About basically every day of the week, just 1 to 2, maybe sometimes 3 walks. And that's just right now, it can grow, but making a pretty decent amount of money at the moment. But more so than anything, when I got that job, it was like this feeling of checkmate. I finally moved the chess pieces the way I wanted to, and I finally did it. Finally, like, it felt like an everlasting game of chess. And otherwise, throughout that time as well, I started really getting out of my comfort zone driving. I think the dog walking has helped because I've gone to all these different places around my county and been comfortable with going just about anywhere. And I feel like my driving skills have gotten to the point where I feel comfortable, very comfortable behind the wheel. Still not perfect, never will be, but very comfortable. Now, growing closer with my parents was the other goal that I mentioned. I feel like throughout the year, I've grown very close with my mom. I've been able to talk to her about things I'm going through in my life. I don't feel like I have to hold back. I'm kind of more authentic around her. But I will say it's not the same with my dad. I just have had trouble, like, speaking up around him. And just kind of feeling like I can be an adult, feeling confident within myself enough to be more vulnerable and to just sort of open up. And that's something I'm still working on. That's still a goal, you know? That is a little bit of a shortcoming I've had this year. Even though I've grown closer with my mom, it's like, still haven't quite hit that mark with my dad. Nonetheless, it's something that I'm really still trying to pursue, and I'd say that's the biggest goal at the moment. Otherwise, throughout the year, I started working out 5 days a week, about 7 workouts in total. And that has obviously helped me physically. I'm in arguably the best shape of my life. I don't know if I would claim that 100%, but mentally, there was, I don't know, working out just allowed me to feel very content throughout a majority of the year. Like, whatever I was going through, I felt like I could manage it. Because I think what these workouts do is they force you into a challenge. They force you into this workout, into this exercise, into this physical challenge, this obstacle. And when you can overcome that, it sort of tricks your mind that, like, oh, in other areas of life, like, I can overcome these challenges. I can do this. At least that's how I felt. It always diminishes my anxiety whenever I do a workout. And it's really helped me a lot. Otherwise, I've made a TikTok account where I've been kind of uploading most of my videos lately. And although I'm not nearly as concerned about, like, how many followers I'm making, it is a part of it. And I've got to 2,000 making these videos of just me talking about life and stuff. And it's something I've been doing every day, uploading videos every day, like 3 videos a day at least. And people have been tuning in, and I'm very grateful for that. And I think as I look back on where I was a year ago, going into the year, that version of me would be proud of where I stand now, of how far I've come. Even with the challenges, even with the suffering. This year has been a year in which I've really grown up and come a long way. But with that being said, there's still challenges there. I'm not perfect, like I said, man. And I think recently has been a little bit odd. This week in particular, this last week, today's Saturday, this last week, it was pretty much cloudy every day. Rainy, stormy. Now, I love this weather, but when it's like that every day and you don't really see the sun, sorry about that, the video just cut off for some reason, but when you don't really see the sun, like, it can kind of leave this feeling of eeriness inside, of kind of just vacancy, when it's just a long time without it. And I felt a little bit odd in the way that the vibes I've been getting from people lately. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. This is kind of just where I'm at currently. Been having a lot of questions, like, what do I want in many facets of life? And I've been very much in solitude the last couple weeks in particular. But with people, like, it's just felt strange. I don't know how else to say it. Like, just the conversations I've had with people, the times I've had spending with people. I don't even know, man. It's hard for me to give an example with it. But it's just felt a little bit off in a way. And I think going into 2023, one of my bigger goals is to be more willing to initiate plans with people, be willing to get out of my comfort zone with people, to try and explore new adventures, like going places and taking people out, trying to actually maybe go on a date with a woman. I haven't been on a date, to be honest, ever. But a lot of that is really because I've wanted to focus on myself. And like I said, this obsession, this whole year, I've been so centered on my journey that it's like I haven't really given the time of day to spend time with people and to grow those connections a little bit more, relationships. And I don't know, it's not like I haven't hung out with anyone, but this year has really been all over the place because it's had its moments where I felt like a goddamn warrior, where I felt like, man, I'm really out here just achieving everything I want. I'm pushing myself to do whatever I want. And then there's those moments where like, well, what if I'm gonna be alone? What if none of this amounts to anything? What is the meaning in all of it? Does it really matter? Where does it all lead? That's the thought process of late, these questions. And it's just been a strange year, but also a really good one, I would say. In the sense that there's been obstacles, but I see the necessity in that. I've really grown to make peace this year with how much is out of my control. You know? It's like when you, like the weather, it's raining today. Why should that affect my mood? Why should that affect what I'm doing? I mean, yeah, obviously I'm not gonna go out and go swimming or something like that, but you know, I can still enjoy the day. All right, there's gonna be weird days. There's gonna be weird moments. There's gonna be some strange occurrences in our lives, but so much is out of our control as humans. And I've kind of made peace with that idea of just doing what I can and accepting my own humanity, my own mortality, my own limitations and imperfections. And just this idea that like, I'll make mistakes, but through that, what can I take from it, you know? All this is really an opportunity. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of been the year for me. I'm sure there's some things that I haven't really touched on. Oh yeah, actually, speaking of which, in the middle of the year, like around July, that was probably the most difficult time of 2022 for me. Can't believe I forgot about this until just now, but I caught COVID and I was in bed for 2 weeks. And while that's only a 2-week period, like when you're there, I didn't even have the energy to get up and play video games. I had body aches like that. I couldn't really sleep because of them, you know? But then again, I had no energy whatsoever. And with that being in the midst of this job search, it felt like life was just going nowhere. Everything was stuck. I felt so alone and isolated. And obviously sick. I couldn't do anything. I literally could not do anything but stay in bed all day for just shy of 2 weeks. I think it was like 12 days. And yeah, I was just kind of in this time period where I wasn't sure where to go or what was going on. And you know, I think that was probably one of the more challenging phases of my life, in all honesty. Even though, again, it was only a 2-week period, like it felt like 2 months. You know, and I think after that, when I sort of recovered and was able to go about my routines again and do what I wanted to do, I sort of started to count my blessings a little bit and realize how fortunate I am to like not just be alive, but to have this room, to have this phone, to have running water, to have electricity, to have a car, to have parents, family, friends, and life itself. And just sort of this gratitude and humility I've kind of tried to embody, and I'm not perfect in that regard. I'm still working on it, but I just try to really be appreciative of everything that I have, and knowing that it's all really a blessing. And yeah, a lot of achievements for me this year, some shortcomings, but I want to, make up for those shortcomings in 2023, and ultimately make my current self proud by the time this time of year comes by again next year, right? By the end of 2023, I want to be proud of, or I want this version of myself to be proud. And that's ultimately the goal, because I think, last year's version of myself would be proud of where I'm at now. And I think when it comes to relationships as well, another thing, that's something that, like I said, I don't really know. I haven't been fully aware of what I want, but more than anything, I don't want to live through the lens of lust. I want to actually grow a connection with someone, with a woman, because I've had questions about my sexuality, but I've realized over this year that I want to be with a woman. And I think when it comes to approaching that relationship, or the idea of a relationship, I've got to be more willing to put myself out there in maybe more social environments, or where a woman would be, and actually go up and talk to them, try and get to know them, and just trust that the person I am, the man I am, is someone that is willing enough to be loved and be appreciated, right? But I feel that within myself, I really do. It's just more so, can I trust myself with like sex and intimacy? And yeah, I would just like to at least try and explore in that regard. So that's kind of where I've been in 2022. I really thank anyone for tuning in and listening. And I want to hear what you guys have been through as well, because if you listen to me, man, I feel like I owe it to anybody to listen to what you've been through and some of the obstacles you've had to encounter. So yeah, even though we haven't really been uploading very much this year, both Alex and I really appreciate you guys who tuned in and listened to everything we had to say, or anything we had to say, because it means a lot, and that love is not lost. So much love to everybody. I wish good vibes, good blessings, positivity in 2023. Even though there will be challenges and obstacles, how can you learn? How can you grow? See it as an opportunity more than anything. And much love. I almost forgot how to say it, but Will from PSYCHONAUT Visions, signing out.